Next, we're going to go on to the presentation of the Singapore Commonwealth Fellowships in Innovation. But first of all, Anthony is going to say a few words about that and the work of the Royal Commonwealth Society here in Singapore. Anthony.
Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'd like to start with a happy announcement. I just received an email from Cambridge University to say that next year they'll be giving us 2 MPhils and 2 PhDs to be awarded to Singaporeans. And this is in addition to our current scholarships that we're working with Newcastle and Glasgow. So now to something a little bit more serious. By now you must be familiar with the pollution that is caused by plastics in our environment, in particular the oceans and the seas. I would like to share with you 3 inconvenient truths about plastic. Inconvenient truth number 1 is that 35% of all manufactured plastics end up in our oceans and seas. Inconvenient truth number 2 is that by 2050, all the plastics in our oceans and seas will weigh more than all the fishes in the oceans and seas. Now just think about that. 2050 is not that far away. All the plastics in our oceans and seas are going to weigh more than all the sea creatures in the seas. I find that really, really, really disturbing. Inconvenient truth number 3, that in spite of what you have been told, synthetic plastic is not degradable. Sorry, it's not biodegradable because it cannot be digested by any bacteria, whether aerobic or anaerobic. The reason is that plastic is not a natural product. It is a man-made product. Take polyester as an example. Poly means many. So you take an ester functional monomer, string them together, and you get a long-chain polyester molecule. Now, in order to do that, you need to put in a lot of energy. And that energy goes to forming covalent bonds, which, if you remember your chemistry, is the strongest of all atomic bonding. And that's why it's so hard to degrade. Yes, it breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces, until you cannot see it anymore with the naked eye. So you see, pun intended, that it is a matter of out of sight, out of mind. But it is still there in our environment, in the water. Now let's move on to some facts. Fact number 1, we can turn things around. Production of plastic is driven by demand. And you know demand is fueled by consumption. So we can modify demand by our personal use and consumption of plastics. A simple change in our attitude and in our lifestyle can go a long way towards reducing the production of plastics. Fact number 2 is a kind of a cliche. We must improve our recycling model. Nike has already produced 1 million pairs of shoes using recycled plastic, and likewise Adidas. Now I got a little dog here for you. My little friends at the back, they have got what is known as a mini tee, and they're going to distribute it right now for everyone. And I would tell you straight off, this particular fabric is made out of recycled plastic. So can you please start distributing it? Give them a few seconds. Oh, you got the mini tee. Great stuff. Yep, just a couple of seconds while the mini tee is being distributed. I must apologize that we don't have enough mini teas to go around for everyone. We have only 50 pieces. But yeah, If those of you who have got one, please feel free to share it with your neighbor and show it around. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to officially announce the Royal Commonwealth Society of Singapore's Responsible Plastic Project. We are teaming up with MDIS's School of Fashion and Design to produce a line of avant-garde Islamic fashion line using recycled plastic as the basic fabric. We are planning to hold a fashion show here, right here in Eden Hall, as part of the 2019 Commonwealth Day celebrations. And then we are going to take this fashion show to Brunei, Darussalam, sponsored by the Bruneian Telco. And finally, we are quietly confident that we'll be able to bring this show to London. On the scientific side of things, this is where I start to get passionate. We are going to work with universities to introduce ways to tag plastic during manufacture. Already Oxford and UCL have expressed interest in this area. We plan to tag, the correct term is, to dope the plastic at manufacture using a hydrocarbon functional group. This way, we can actually track the manufacture of the plastic through to the distribution chain, usage and disposal, i.e. through its entire life cycle. You can use blockchain technology to track how the plastic is produced, how it's distributed, how it's used, how it's consumed, and how finally it is leaked into our environment. And that's very important because we don't have that information at the moment. So this is something that we're going to do. And towards this end, I've gathered a project team comprising of dedicated scientists. Can I see Professor Wang? Victor Wang, where are you? Victor, can I see a show of your hands? And Dr. Kelvin Wong. They're right at the back. And Victor's there. Well, these two guys possess a special quality that I don't have, and that's youth. This Responsible Plastic Project is a long-term project. It is a marathon, not a 100-meter sprint. And so our team, the one that I formed, will grow and then eventually take over from me and run the next lap. And we have coined a phrase, a mantra, if you like, that I kind of somewhat borrowed from Martin Luther King. And it goes like this, that we have a dream that tomorrow the world will be a better place because of what we do today. Thank you.